Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Chuck the Cyber Cock. And today we're going to be discussing Krillin. People like to underestimate Krillin. They say he's fodder, that he's nothing, that he's the weakest fighter, that he ain't shit, right? I mean, sure, he might look feeble, compared to Goku or Vegeta, but I mean, he's able to go up against Cell, Frieza, and even Boo. I mean, he knows he's outmatched, but he's still trying to fight. That's why he's a badass at heart. And you can make fun of him all you want, bro. But if he walked right into GameStop and slapped your girlfriend's ass in front of you, there isn't shit you're gonna be able to do about it, man. You just aren't gonna be able to do shit, bro. Just take the L. And the question is, how strong would he be if he were a Saiyan warrior? Now, we're not gonna be just discussing, like how his power level would be, or what Zenkais he would have obtained, but also what quality, like what kind of Saiyan would he be? Would he be one of the lower class Saiyans like Goku, or would he be like an elite like Vegeta? Well, let's find out. Hold on to your dicks. So first off, we're gonna be breaking down power levels. Now, before people say, but Chuck, power levels are bullshit. All right, relax, TFS fanboy. We can use power levels, okay? It's never been stated that they're bullshit, that they're meaningless, right? The main reason Toriyama didn't want to put power levels was because he felt they'd spoil the fight, because whoever had the higher power level would win, right? It's not because they were bullshit. So people need to get that in mind. But power levels can be used, especially when these are official. These aren't speculation. These are from the data books, the manga, stuff like that. And also, they're pretty good, So we need power levels to determine a Zenkai Boost. Now, if you go and you look at the Daizenshu, Vegeta's power level grew from 18,000 to 24,000 after he got his first Zenkai. And and then he grew again to 30,000 after he got beaten down by Zarbon. And then it went on from there, right? His power level increased by about 1.3 times. So the minimal Zenkai Boost is 1.3 times. Now, what about the maximum? Well, this is a very good question. You need to look at the Zenkai Boost that Goku got after Vegeta shit on his body. Now, his power level grew from 90,000 to 3 million. And the reason it grew this big was because of Akira Toriyama shit writing. But anyways, so that's about a 33 times difference. Now, if we can calculate how strong Krillin would have gotten from these Zenkais who would have been a Saiyan, then the possibilities are endless. Now, this is where it gets crazy. So now we're going to skip the Saiyan saga because it's not really that important. But Krillin would have at least gone 2 Zenkais. The first time after he got defeated by Nappa, and then the second time after he and Gohan and Goku, they all got shit on by Vegeta, right? Whatever. And his power level at that time was about 1700. And then, when you look at Daizenshu 7, his power level was 13,000 after Guru unlocked his potential. And then another guide implies that his power level was 75,000 after he fought Frieza. How strong would he be with a Zenkai Boost? Now, if we look at the largest Zenkai Boost that Goku got, then he would have easily gone stronger than Goku or Vegeta. Don't believe me? Watch this. His power level was 13,000. You give him a 33 times Zenkai Boost, his power level would have been 429,000, which means he would have been pretty close to being as strong as First Form Frieza, which means he would have been stronger than the Ginyu Force. He would have effortlessly shit on them, casually, no difficulty. He would have been stronger than Vegeta or, Goku with Kaioken, like, easily. But now, what if he would have gotten his second Zenkai Boost, when Frieza literally pegged him? He literally fucking rotted him right in the chest with his horns. Like, you saw that shit, bro. Like, he just fucking rammed him, right? You multiply 429,000 by 33 times, his power level would have been 14 million, right? Which means he would have been stronger than Goku after receiving his Zenkai Boost. He would have been stronger than first, third, or suppressed final form Frieza. And he would have easily been stronger than base Goku or Vegeta. So, right there, you see that Krillin, even though he got the shit beaten out of him, his Zenkais would have given him a huge advantage. It would have been... the battle would have been over. Like, definitely. But now, let's say, what if Goku or Gohan or Piccolo died, right? What would Krillin do in this situation? Turn Super Saiyan, obviously. So now, we use his, base power level of 14 million. Let's just say, Frieza's gonna get shit stomped much harder. It would be like this bully just takes away this guy's lunch money. There's nothing he can do about it. So 14 million by 50 times, which is the official Super Saiyan multiplier, you would have a whopping 700 million power level, which means that Krillin would have been almost 6 times stronger than final form Frieza at 100%. Just think about that shit. It's pretty crazy, right? This is just a quick walkthrough with the power levels, you know. So the point is, Krillin is pretty damn strong, right? If he would have gone the Zenkai Boost and the Super Saiyan on top of that, he would have easily shit-stomped Frieza and he would have been stronger than Goku or Vegeta. If he kept his training up, he would have easily been the strongest fighter in the series. But now, you know, we don't really need to touch up on the Cell or the Boost Saga or even Super, because in the Boost Saga, you know, he barely does shit. You know, he gets killed by Majin Buu, and Super he like doesn't train that much until like the later arcs. But in the Cell Saga, he would have at least gone to Zenkais. You know, the first time when Cell's examining and masturbating over his new body and has a really, really strange moment.
You should feel lucky. He's the first one to be touched by my perfect body.
And the second time after he got beaten down by the Cell Juniors. But Krillin would have, you know, possibly trained in the hyperbolic time chamber and obtained a set of Super Saiyan and, you know, Ultra Super Saiyan, whatever you want to call, you know, Super Saiyan Grade, 2 and 3, maybe even Super Saiyan Grade 4. Right? That would have been crazy, you know, Master Super Saiyan Krillin. So what I'm trying to tell you guys here is that if Krillin would have kept his training up, you know, he would have trained hard alongside Goku and Vegeta, he would have retained that ability the Saiyans have to get stronger after every fight, and, you know, this, you know, much better, like, physiology, and then he would have easily been the strongest fighter, and he would have possibly even, like, rivaled, if not become stronger than Gohan himself, which is pretty crazy, right? Although it is kind of questionable because Gohan does have his Rage Boost, which, you know, gives him an advantage. But anyways, let's move on to the other topics at hand. Now, this is a really good argument. If Krillin was a Saiyan, he would have possibly never even needed Zenkai Boost during the Namek Saga in the first place, because he would have been much stronger than before. If he would have gone a Zenkai Boost, you know, after being defeated by Nappa and Vegeta, that would have helped him tremendously in the Namek Saga. He'd have possibly been able to defeat, you know, Dory and Zarbon, and just think about it, he would have been able to do that before getting his Elder potential unlocked. And that heavily increased his power level. Now, if he would have gone that, he would have possibly defeated the Ginyu Force. Now, however, even if he would have been strong enough to defeat these guys without Zenkai Boost, without getting beat down, he would have still needed, like, some sort of plotting the stupidity bullshit that Toriyama likes to do to defeat Frieza, because even after all these characters got these insane Zenkai boosts, you know, looking at Goku and looking at Kaioken and all that stuff, they were still weaker than Frieza. So Krillin would have definitely still needed, like, you know, a larger Zenkai boost or Super Saiyan to overcome Frieza. You know, people say, oh, Krillin's fucking nothing, he's weak. But you guys need to keep in mind, when he was young, when he was still training alongside Goku, he was pretty much relativistic to him. They were pretty much near equal in training, and when Goku was still, you know, a kid or, you know, a teenager, they were still pretty close in power. They were pretty much rivals, right? And it wasn't until, you know, Goku obtained his Ultra Divine Water and he defeated King Piccolo, that's when Goku was really starting to really step up above Krillin. But, you know, in the early arcs of Dragon Ball, they were still pretty much equal. So if Krillin, even before all his crazy training, was able to, you know, pretty much be equal to a fodder Saiyan that was Goku, with a Saiyan, just imagine his potential. He'd have easily been above a lower class warrior. Because, I mean, think about it this way. Raditz was pretty much a fodder Saiyan, right? His power level was, like, at the very minimum, 1,000. That was still higher than King Piccolo or Goku and Piccolo Jr. after they trained for many, many years. Raditz was even stronger than Master Roshi when he busted a moon. So even a fodder Saiyan like Raditz was still higher than a Moonbuster, right? And if we look at a fodder human with a power level of 5, they aren't even bullet level. Yet Krillin, with all this training, was able to basically be equal to a fodder Saiyan, right? And as I said, a fodder Saiyan is even that much stronger than any human. Now, before we get into how strong Krillin would be, you know, in terms of destructive capability, we need to talk about, you know, how would Krillin fare in the long run, right? So he'd have possibly gone a lot stronger due to these Zenkais, and if he would have kept up his training, he would have possibly been like the strongest Z fighter, if not pretty much, you know, relativistic to Goku. But later down the line, you know, he would have let the peace get into his head, as he did in Dragon Ball Super and the Boost Saga, in which he basically neglected training because he was raising his family, right? Because, you know, he banged 18, they shit out Maron, and, you know, he became a cop that gets fucking grazed by bullets. Amazing writing, Toriyama. But his potential and his power level would have, you know, decreased over time, but he would have, even while rusty, he would have still been a really strong fighter. This question is, how strong would he be with destructive capability? Well, if you analyze in the early arcs, it's probably level 1700, whatnot, he would have easily been beyond moon level, right? And he was actually stronger than Piccolo was when he busted the moon casually, which would place him at a small planet level. But, at the very minimum, and during the Ginyu saga, he would have definitely been a planet buster. And people be like, what? Krillin? But he's weak as shit. He is definitely planet level. There's actually a guy that says that the minimum power level to destroy a planet, which would actually be larger than the Earth, because the Earth is referred to as a small planet in the Dragonball series. So I guess you could say like an average-sized planet, which is larger than the Earth, would require a power level of 10,000. And Krillin's power level was 13,000 when he obtained his Elder Kai potential. And if he would have, gone those two Zenkais as a Saiyan, he would have easily been a Starbuster by the time he went up against Frieza, which is pretty crazy, right? And I just imagine later down the line in the Cell arcs, after he trained for many years alongside Goku and the others, give him some hyperbolic time chamber like training boost, maybe Super Saiyan 2, all these advanced Super Saiyan grades, he would have easily been a solar system buster by the end of that. Krillin would have been much more insanely stronger if he were a Saiyan. So just think about it, right? Stop underestimating this guy, alright? He's a fucking beast when it comes down to it. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate your attention. Thank you for Seth for, letting me host this special episode. And, subscribe to this channel, if you want to see more amazing debunks, some power scaling, all this shit's going to go down later this month. It's going to be amazing. So smash that like button, smash that bell button if you want to be notified when fire is uploaded. But other than that, thank you very much and peace out. Your daddy is signing off.
My name is Jeff.